Thank you. That was John Philip Sousa's El Capitan. El Capitan was actually written in the late 19th century, and believe it or not, it was actually an operetta written by Sousa. He's so famous for all the marches that he has written. We don't know too much about all the operas, though. An operetta is actually a small opera or a light opera, not as dramatic and deep as, say, maybe the Romantic period operas of Puccini, Wagner, Verdi, and those types of composers. The march actually contains a number of melodies from the operetta, and it was all just kind of thrown together, and he made it into a march. So that was the El Capitan March, which was written in about around the late 19th century. Our next tune is called Among the Clouds. It's written by Brian Balmages. Brian is a trumpet player and a freelance musician in the Baltimore area. The composer writes this about his piece, and I'm going to grab the program that I forgot. So Brian says, more than a third of the dreaming population reports having had at least one flying dream. While anyone can have them, they tend to occur in people who are especially creative and imaginative. Of particular interest are lucid dreamers, those who are actually aware they are dreaming and can then control their actions while inside the dream. Among the Clouds takes us into the minds of these lucid dreamers as they drift off to sleep and wake up in a dream where they own the skies. This is Among the Clouds. Waiting for the day he put conductor on all them workout videos at home. It would do a good job on doing all of that. All right, our next piece is called the Percy Grainger Portrait. Percy Grainger was an Australian-born composer who played a prominent role in the revival of British folk music in the early 20th century. He is a very popular composer, of great band literature. As I tell the students here, if you're going to go on to college one day or play music outside of high school, you're definitely going to run into the works of Percy Grainger. He has just some of the most beautiful melodies ever written for band, one of which you'll be able to hear in just a second here. Oops. The piece we're going to play is a collection of excerpts from 4 of different Grainger's arrangements. You may have heard of some of these. The first one is Irish Tune from County Derry. The second is Mock Morris. The third is My Robin is to the Greenwood Gone. And then the fourth song is Over the Hills and Far Away. This is Percy Grainger, a portrait of Percy Grainger. Okay, those first three pieces you just heard there, these guys played just yesterday. Over the last 2 days, yesterday and today, we have had the pleasure of, again for the third time, hosting the LMEA Large Ensemble Assessment, as I believe what they call it these days. It used to be festival, it used to be competition. I guess they keep changing the names up every couple years to keep it fresh, I don't know. But I have to say that these guys did a wonderful job in so many different ways. First of all, to host about 30, I think it was 31 bands that came through here is a big chore for us. It started at 8 in the morning, didn't end until about 6:30 yesterday evening, and we started again at 8 this morning, and we ended about maybe 3:30ish today or so. So we did have a little break before tonight. But I would just like to first congratulate these guys on a job well done as being such gracious hosts to these guys. You know, these bands come in and they forget things, or something may break on the way over, and they get here, do you have a cello? Do you have a bass? Do you have a mallet? Do you have this? I was like, my goodness, okay. So, you know, we're scrambling all day trying to please everyone and make sure they have what they need for the performance. We even had to call a Mr. Cassar at one point. We have a cello. So the closest thing we had to a cello was a half-size bass. So we went and got that out the closet and gave it to the girl, and I think she did just fine with it. So thank goodness we have all these instruments and crazy little things here that you never would expect to give to these guys when they forget something at school. As far as the stage performance, these guys, we had a 2 in our performance. It goes from a 1, which is a superior, and it goes all the way down to a 5. 1 being the best as a superior, and a 2 is an excellent, and a 3 is good, 4 is fair, and I really don't know what 5 means, and I hope we never find out. I don't know if there's an actual name for a 5, but they did score a 2 from the judges on the stage portion of those 3 tunes you just heard, so a 2 is still an excellent. You know, many of them are like me. We always want the best. We want to come out with the best scores. We want to be the best. And as I was telling them, you know, it's still nice to say that you're excellent. You know, we may not be superior this year, but, I mean, what a compliment to even be excellent. So there's a great job for these guys on that. And the score that I am most proud of, this was our 3rd year doing the Large Ensemble Festival, or assessment they call it. The first year, what we do each year, we play our portion on stage, and then we go across the hall and we go to the sight reading room. And what sight reading is, we walk in there, they hand out a piece of music to us, an entire piece of music, and they give us 8 minutes to look over this entire piece of music, to talk about it, talk about all the little things that's going to go on in it, and then we have to play it for the judge. So you can imagine working up an entire song in 8 minutes, pretty tough. We spent a great deal of time this semester working on the sight reading skills. And so we went in there, our first year that we did that, we came out with a 3 in sight reading. So that definitely motivated us for the next year. Last year, we got a 2, so there was certainly improvement in the sight reading from the students. I am proud to say this year we brought that score up to a 1, to a superior. So it was so funny. After we had we played the sight reading, the guys left, and the judge came up to me, and she goes, "Did y'all know that piece?" And the reason she asked me that, it was I'll never forget this. We have, you know, we can't see the music, so it's face down. So she says, "Okay, turn it over," and she starts the clock, and all at once, just collective gasp from the band, like. And the reason that was because when we turned it over, it was nothing but black ink all over this page. It was just ink everywhere, 16th notes, just really fast. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm just freaking out inside, but I can't let them know that, you know, and I'm sure they were too. And it was just so funny. Well, so when the judge came up to me after, she went from the gasp that they had made, she goes, "Have y'all played that piece before?" I said, "No, that gasp was out of fear when we turned that music." And certainly not. We were scared. So we're going through, like I said, we have 8 minutes, and there was just so much in this music. It was so complicated. They actually go by the Texas standards of sight reading, so the music was quite difficult. So when the 8 minutes was over, we were only halfway through the piece talking about it. So at that point, it was just like, good luck. Let's just see if we can end together. And We actually did. We made it beginning to end. We stayed together. They did an awesome job reading that music, and it's just so proud of them to know that we have come over these last 3 years from a 3 all the way up to a 1 in the sight reading score. So congratulations to these guys. I'd also like to thank our Mr. Hebert and our tech crew. Without them, we certainly could not do that LMEA Large Ensemble Assessment. Between each bands, they have to set up a completely different setup up here on stage. They're also over in the sight reading room, so it's just constant all day long, switching and setting up. And they send in their sheets how they want the band set up. So they set them up like that. Then they get here and it's like, no, that's not right. We're going to change it. So, all right, every band almost it seems. So they did a great job. So a big special thank you to Mr. Hebert and the tech crew for giving us a hand. Okay, we're going to take a quick break from the large group here, and we're going to do an ensemble here. This is our percussion ensemble. They're going to play a piece written by Camille Saint-Saëns, who was a French composer of the Romantic period of music. This piece is called Aquarium. Aquarium is actually from a larger collection called Carnival of the Animals, which is, believe it or not, 14 short tunes which are based all on animals. This particular piece, Aquarium, it depicts the tranquil, dreamlike, and bubbly qualities of an aquarium. I'm sure we don't know what it's like to be an aquarium, but I'm sure we can imagine. So it's written for marimba, xylophone, vibraphone, and bells. And they're going to go ahead and finish setting up here, and this is going to be our percussion ensemble playing Aquarium from Carnival of the Animals. It was just a few years ago that we had started really building up this, the keyboard percussion is what they're called. If you can see it from up top, you'll notice they're set up just as a piano would be, and they play it with their mallets, sometimes with 2, sometimes with 4 mallets. But over the years, that group has grown. The skill level has really raised there, and we were able to do a pretty tough piece there. It took them a while to work on that and build that up. As you can see, wonderful piece. Okay, we're going to keep Jack Stogner out here in the front, and he's going to do a vibraphone solo. This solo is called Morning Dove, written by composer Christopher Dean, who is also an associate professor of percussion at the University of North Texas. This particular piece here, very avant-garde, if you will, 20th century contemporary kind of composition, which really gives the performer a chance to be expressive in very unconventional ways. You'll notice that as he's playing the vibes, he'll be using normal vibe mallets. He's also going to be using a bow from a string bass to make different sound effects. Also, he'll be using a metal mallet, which also bends the pitches a little bit, so you'll kind of hear that sound. So you'll see he has a number of mallets and a number of stands to go along with this piece here. So as soon as he's set up, this is going to be Jack Stogner on the vibraphone solo. All right, we're going to get back to the big group here. Over the past few years, I started this, I guess, a few years back, to where we have our senior drum major come up in front of the band and conduct them for one last time before they graduate. It's usually a teary-eyed moment, and especially with Alyssa over here. But yeah, Alyssa is our senior drum major this year, and this is her final concert with us here at Chalmette High School, and this is her opportunity here to conduct the band one last time. So I'm going to let Alyssa come to the microphone and talk to you just for a minute about this next piece.
Hi. Today I'm going to be conducting Appalachian Expedition by Chris M. Bernotes. The Appalachian Trail is 2,000 miles long and crosses 14 states, 8 national forests, and 2 national parks. It stretches from Mount Katahdin, Maine, to Springer Mountain, Georgia. Taking on the task of hiking the trail is one that takes rigorous tolls on the body and the mind. But there is no greater feeling than the accomplishment of taking the final steps of such a journey. Appalachian Expedition pays tribute to the individuals who have braved the elements and have shown the dedication necessary to achieve a monumental goal. Thank you.
I would just like to add that Alyssa had the opportunity to rehearse the band and work that tune up with her without any help from me, so super proud of her. If you were here last year, you may remember we did that one last year, and but Alyssa had to pick any song she wanted. The choice was hers, so she picked that one, although there were some discrepancies among the band members. It was Alyssa's choice ultimately, and that was the piece she picked, Appalachian Expedition. So, wonderful piece, so thanks a lot, Alyssa, great job. Okay, before we get on to our next tune, I'd like to just take this minute here and recognize some guests that we have with us here in the audience tonight. As you know, we go do our Mardi Gras parades each year. This year, all 8 of them. I think twice about that one next year. But as you know, we go all over the place this year. We were out in Slidell, we were in Metairie, we were here in Chalmette, and we were out in the city as well. And each year, since the beginning, we've had our St. Bernard Sheriff's deputies with us to come out there and make sure that we stay safe and really take really good care of us. Any issues that come up, they're always right there, and we feel so safe when we go with them and we leave the parish and we know that they're with us. So I'd like to just start recognizing a few people here tonight. First of all, I'd like to recognize the Sheriff of St. Bernard Parish, the Honorable James Pohlmann. Mr. Pohlmann, we have a plaque here for you. It says, Sheriff of St. Bernard Parish for outstanding support rendered to the Chalmette High School Band.
Well, thank you very much. Wow. That's what I can say about you guys. I don't know if it was just me, but I felt like I was swimming around in an aquarium. Then I climbed out the aquarium. I seen Jack. He looked like Edward Scissorhands, making beautiful music out of that instrument. That is incredible. Every time that I show up to an event at this auditorium, I leave saying, wow. It is simply amazing the talent that we have here in St. Bernard Parish and our school system. Congratulations. Here at St. Bernard Sheriff's Office, we have a commitment to, of course, public safety. We have a commitment to our community. We have a strong commitment to our future. And if you just look to my left, that's our future. And if you wonder what St. Bernard's future is going to be like, it's going to be very bright for us. Again, congratulations. Very talented group.
All right, the next person I would like to recognize is Captain Charlie Borchers, Commander, Reserve Officer Division of the St. Bernard Parish Sheriff's Office. And this one says for outstanding support rendered to the Chalmette High School Band. So please, let's give a big hand for Captain Charles Borchers. So that's to the microphone. All right, also, we have a couple more guys here to recognize. These officers have been with us faithfully over the, since I can remember, actually. They've been with us every year, and like I said, they take really good care of us. So I would just like to go ahead and recognize them with the certificate. We have Lieutenant Mitch Perkins. Deputy Simon Gonzalez. Sergeant Chris Palazzola. And Deputy Harold Larter. So again, we appreciate so much the support of our sheriff's office and making sure our students stay safe while we walking all around the city and wherever parish where we decide to go. They're always with us, so we certainly appreciate you guys. Thank you. All right, at this time, we do have some of our middle school friends with us in the audience, and I would like to call you guys up to come join us. Middle school guys, you can come up and come grab a seat. We can get some chairs out here, Tech. These are some of the 8th graders from our middle schools, represented as St. Bernard Middle, Tris Middle, and Andrew Jackson Middle. A couple of weeks back, I sent some music to their band directors and offered them to come join us here for our concert tonight. And so I'm so glad to see that so many of them accepted our invitation. And so they're going to join us here now. 2 of the songs we're going to play. One is called Sousa's Favorites, and this is actually an arrangement of about 4 different Sousa marches I'll put into one. And then the second tune we're going to do with them is a tune called Alexander's Ragtime Band. So we'll let them get set up here, and we'll get started. All right, and before we get to our last tune of the evening, I do have one more quick presentation to give out. This next person in the audience with us tonight has also been with us since the beginning of time, it seems, as long as I can remember. Over the years, he has certainly become a dear friend to me and to the band, and we have done such wonderful things together over the past few years that I'm really, truly it's special to have a friend like this, let me say. What a great person this man is, and we've done, like I said, plenty together over the past few years. He has always been here with us for our group, and so I would like to recognize and present this plaque to Mr. William Hyland. And the plaque here says, "In appreciation, William Hyland, for your generous commitment of time, support, and inspiration to our endeavors. Chalmette High School Band."
Well, thank you so much. Well, this is certainly an unexpected honor, and, I thank you so much for it. John Adams, our second president, once wrote that the reward of a job well done is simply to have done it well. So perhaps I might have done something well once in my life. But it's so good to be with all of you. And let me say that the sheriff and our law enforcement people do a wonderful job in this community, and we really couldn't do without them. It's been a pleasure for me to see Jimmy over decades and these other deputies. They're great people. And to all of the families and the band parents, I thank you for encouraging your children to be involved in this, because what a great thing it does for them and what a great thing it does for our community. And then, of course, to all of you, let me say to the band members that I'm always humbled to be in your presence, and it's a great thing that you do. And I want you to know that this year we found in the coup d'etat, as we marched for hours in the city and delighted people for hours in the city, that all of you are the pride of St. Bernard. Thank you so much.
And also a final huge thank you to our principal, Mr. Wayne Warner, and Miss Munt, and all their lovely assistants and staff here with us at Chalmette High School. Also, a great big thank you to Mr. Charles Kassar and also to Mr. Fred Hebert. Without their help and support, we wouldn't be here either. All right, and our last tune tonight is called American Heroes, and we would like to dedicate this piece to all of our men and women in uniform who put their lives on the line for this great country every single day. This is a compilation of tunes from the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, and the Marines. So this is American Heroes. Thank you so much for coming out tonight.
Thank you.